We're at the Yee Farm building the 2020 drum kit. When are we going on the road? We don't know, but it's probably sometime soon. We're gonna be ready.
The challenge on this drum kit build is getting it all to fit inside our trailer, which is 79 inches wide, or 6'7". My drum riser is 76 inches wide, or 6'4", leaving me only 3 inches to spare inside the trailer and giving me a lot less space to work with on the riser than I'm used to. Setting up the drum set at a 45-degree angle allows me to split the riser down the middle, so it'll roll in and out of venues and I won't have to take anything apart, not even microphones. Last week, I moved my drums from my 8x8 arena riser to our old club riser, which is much smaller. I had to rearrange some of my drum rack to fit in the smaller space. This left side gave me the most trouble because it has the most going on and it's hard to avoid taking the whole thing apart just to make small adjustments. I sped this video up a lot, but it took most of an afternoon to get this side to fit the way I wanted and to get my rubber trigger pads level. Now that I've got the drums on the riser the way I want them, I'm going to explain more about why I set things up the way I do. I've played this same drum set for 11 years, and in all types of situations and genres. It's taken on many different forms that have led to its current one, and it's crossed the US and Canada more times than I can count. Before touring ended for 2020, these drums were on pace to play their 1500th show with me. Looking at this kit now, I can see why I like this setup so much. To explain this, I have to go back to the beginning. I've always been a drummer from age 2. My favorite drummer as a kid was Anton Fig. Getting to see him and the entire CBS orchestra on TV every night was a huge influence on me as a kid. I loved how they improvised, played covers of popular songs I would recognize, and I loved how Anton was constantly reacting to the show's jokes. Watching Anton on TV showed me how entertaining a drummer could be in front of a live audience while still getting the job done in a tasteful way. Fast forward to 2009.
What's up, Houston? How y'all doing?
I was in my first serious rock band playing about 100 shows a year. I got my first drum endorsement and my mom bought me this kit as a 4-piece. I quickly added more toms to make it a 6-piece with 2 low toms and 2 high toms. Later that year, my rock band ended and I got my first country gig.
Anybody out the darkness makes everything seem so clearly.
I slimmed down the kit and had to concentrate on the challenge of playing slow, sometimes quiet country songs, which made me a much better drummer. No double bass in these days either. I wasn't very good at it anyway.
You won't even notice that I'm gone till you wake up and you're all alone. Then you'll point fingers. You're the ultimate deceiver.
In 2012, I left my country gig to join another rock band on my first national tour. I built an entirely new setup in my apartment, which was nothing but drums and a futon. I packed up the drums and shipped them off to the first show without rehearsing a single note or meeting any of the band members. On this tour, I played my first shows ever in Michigan, Pittsburgh, Vermont, Maine, and so many other places I thought I would never see again. Boy, would I be wrong. This rock tour was also the first tour I'd ever been on with an end date, which meant I didn't have a job when it was over. Luckily, 3 days before the last show, I got a text from Granger Smith. Granger and his band were the most motivated band I'd ever played with. They had the busiest tour schedule, a customized van, homemade lights, and were using Ableton Live to run them. Because of Ableton, I started adding more electronics to my kit, not just for clap sounds or 808 drops, but to control Ableton itself. As the band got tighter, the shows got more intense. I played with 2 kick drums for a while, had 2 computers at one point, and 3 snares at another. Our shows were constantly evolving, which meant the drum setup kept changing. By 2014, our Ableton setup was getting more and more complicated, and I needed a better way to run it. This was when I added the DrumCat. The DrumCat, known as one of the most powerful MIDI controllers in the world, enabled me to really take things to the next level, and it gave me a way to run the computer from the drums with just my sticks and pedals and keep my hands off the computer. In 2017, after 8 years on the road, I retired the Silver Sparkle kit and ordered a new drum set with an additional 20-inch gong drum. That kit was in an 18-wheeler wreck later that year and would never tour again. The Silver Sparkle kit would be back in action on the road again after really only taking a 6-month break. This time I modified my extra 20-inch kick drum to be mounted like the gong drum from the previous kit and mounted it on the hi-hat side, replacing my 2 side snares. Having a 20-inch mini kick drum on my hi-hat side was awesome once I got the hang of it. When 2019 came around, I was loving this setup more than ever and added my 8-inch tom I had never used before. I view my drum set as a percussion workstation. It's a collection of things that I need to perform a certain show. My setup now reminds me of the set of marching tenors I played in high school, with a small kick drum on the side. My cymbals are placed all around the kit so I never have to reach too far to hit one no matter where I am. My electronics let me do anything else I need to do. What else does a drummer need to do besides play drums? That's the topic of my next video.
1776 of the Sanders morning, my lady in the Rocky Mountains, may not lose. Just like that. America was born.
Show that we can for the people that need to hear it tonight, and help us have a safe trip to all the places we're going tomorrow. And thank you for letting us do this crazy music thing for a living. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. What makes a good show? What makes a great show? What makes a life-changing show? Is it a good band? Good songs? Smoke and lights? It's much simpler than that.
Wow.
A good show is a well-run show.
Crazy.
No matter how simple or elaborate your stage setup is, a great show is one that flows well.
What's up, South Carolina?
It doesn't even have to be well rehearsed. A great live show is one that maximizes each moment, envelops the audience, and doesn't lose them due to dead time or bad transitions. Using tracks in your show has always been the answer to making your transitions better, but I've always loved playing shows that are spontaneous and improvised, when even the band doesn't know what's going to happen next. Performing live to me has always been a theater production, and for so long running tracks in your show has robbed bands of their spontaneity. I committed myself to change this and develop a flexible way of running my band's show that would allow us to use an arena-level production while still being able to improvise on stage, change the set list at any time, and give us the option to be spontaneous every night. Usually, adding a computer to your band's show means your band now has to perform like a computer. But what if there was a way to make the computer perform more like a band member, starting and stopping together, or jumping into the last chorus after an improvised breakdown to finish out the song with the band? In other words, instead of rehearsing your band endlessly in an effort to eliminate all on-stage problems, we needed a way to recover from them without breaking the show's flow or losing the audience's attention. This turned into a whole new philosophy about how a tracks rig should run. This new tracks philosophy always maintains these 4 things. Flexibility. The worst thing about using tracks is having to play every show the same way forever. I wanted a way to be able to make our show flexible and not be locked to anything ever. I wanted a responsive tracks rig that would allow us to overcome any problems that could possibly happen on stage. For example, what do you do if you're playing to tracks and your singer drops his microphone right before a verse starts? I wanted to bring spontaneity back to the live show and give the band the ability to make every night different. And finally, I found the best way to use tracks live is to use them as little as possible and to not use them at all in certain moments. This is the electronic side of the drum set. Here's my DrumCat controller, and it's connected to the computer through MIDI. I program the controller on every song to give me access to anything I need for that song. The controller can also send instructions to the computer or to other computers, like the one that runs the video wall. In this video clip, I have a trigger pedal on the floor that's programmed to play an 808 bass drop when I step on it. I use it on the hits at the end of this song. The video wall is repeating a graphic of the waving "Don't Tread on Me" flag that we want to strobe on each hit, but there's no way to make the video wall do this unless we program it in, which would not be flexible. To make the wall strobe in a flexible way, I've added a MIDI strobe command to an unused trigger input on the DrumCat. It's a simple note on command that lasts 4.5 seconds. I don't want to add another pedal for this command, so I'll link this trigger to my trigger pedal on the floor. It seems like a lot of work, but now that it's programmed, the 808 drop pedal strobes the video wall 4.5 seconds every time I hit it. It's no more work for me during the show. I just play the drums and use the pedal I was already hitting on the last 5 hits to strobe the wall with the band. The band watches me for the hits, and I'm watching Granger for the hits. All of us on stage, even the computers and video wall, are hitting together. I also have to add a video kill command to another pad to black out the video wall at the end. One of the biggest ways to make your shows flow better is your transitions into and out of songs. In this video, there's a spot after the guitar solo where Granger has the option each night to change the song if he chooses. We don't always have the time to extend this song every night, and the decision usually isn't made until the last second. You can see here, when I hear Granger start talking instead of singing, I quickly grab a stick and hit stop and click.
You know what I think this night needs, Iowa? Some good old Iowa country chicken picking guitar.
This starts a click loop, and Granger is free to improvise. None of us know how long this will last or what he will do. This pad toggles back and forth between stop clips and launching the click loop for the song.
It kind of makes my shoulders do like this.
Having both commands mapped to the same pad makes it easy. Just 2 quick taps will stop the tracks and then start the right click loop. The next time I hit that pad, it will stop clips again, which will come in handy right here, where I'll stop it again and really slow it down with no click for this bluesy section.
Best thing I remember, I was here with you, standing by a woman in a long white easy.
Now it's time for the guitar dual solo. To make this section as tight as possible, you'll see me turn the volume up on my wireless pack here. The click is still off, so the guitarists are actually setting the tempo for us here. We go as fast as they want to take it. Some nights it's faster than others depending on the night. It's moments like these when you need the ability to turn the click off and really listen to each other as a band. Being able to do this with a controller like the DrumCat makes all these actions easy. What started as a normal song off the album turned into a song, a breakdown, a solo break, a cover song, and a dueling guitar solo to end it all, without having to mix down any new tracks, all made possible with just a stop button and a click loop. Here's a situation where the DrumCat is making changes for me to make things easier behind the kit. There's a percussion loop throughout this song, and I chose not to track the loop in certain sections to give us the flexibility to extend the moment after the guitar solo. The problem with this loop is that the second clap has reverb. Luckily, the DrumCat has a mode in it that will let you program a pad or trigger to play not just one note, but a series of notes in a specific order. In this situation, I've taken the dry clap and the reverb clap and loaded them into a drum rack in Ableton. Note C1 triggers the dry clap, and note C#1 triggers the reverb clap. I'll program my clap trigger pad to cycle through these 4 notes repeatedly in this order. But remember, the pattern is off because I didn't hit that last one. I'll program an unused pad to reset pattern on this song. Hitting it will reset the pattern back to the beginning. I make a habit of hitting it 1 beat before I play the pads. This may seem like a lot of work again, but with a little bit of programming, Now I don't have to add a third trigger pad to my kit just to play the reverb clap. And we can remain flexible during this song and don't have to track the loop.
You order a drink that goes down smooth. Before you can blink, it turns into two. Dibbles.
Here's a song that starts 100% off of Granger. We're coming out of a song called When the Good Guys Win, and I'll be going straight into a drum beat to intro the next song. Again, I'll start just the click loop and start playing. This is usually Granger's first chance to talk to the crowd in the show. Looping this moment with the band gives Granger all the time he wants to talk to the
I
crowd.
like to think that Minnesota is part of the heart of Yee Yee Nation.
It also gives the other band members time to switch guitars, get a drink, or whatever they need.
First of all, thank you for wearing so much of this Yee Yee apparel out here, man. This is awesome.
If it's a headlining show, this break will go longer than if we are opening for someone. Looping this beginning intro gives us that flexibility.
At home in Minnesota with y'all. You know, we're from Texas, but I feel like we speak the same language with y'all in Minnesota. We understand each other. I feel like I understand you by looking at you. You feel like you understand me? Okay. I can put you.
When Granger starts singing here, we know he's wrapping it up.
What if I told you something like this? I wanna love you on a Ford truck bench seat. I wanna love you on a diagram bench seat. Here we go. I wanna love you on a Toyota Prius.
The song still hasn't started yet. I'll stop the loop here to slow down.
That's not me.
And I'll use my trigger on the floor to start the song right on cue with Granger's voice and hand signal. You can see his hand signal in his
I
shadow.
wanna love you on a silver on a bench seat.
From this point on, we're in sync with the click and the video wall.
Girl, you shine like a...
Here's a situation where Granger wants to start a song by himself, acoustic, and have the band come in at the downbeat of the first chorus.
First time I came to Des Moines, 2012, it was my very first sold-out show.
Granger's on his own right now with no rush to get into the song or wrap up what he's saying.
I told you I'll never forget Iowa. Never. The album that got me there was called Dirt Road Driveway. And I'll never forget when you guys sang it back to me for the very first time.
Whenever he's ready, he'll simply start the song. The band will follow
A
along.
song called Miles and Mud Tires. I'm little burned out from a hard week.
And when the chorus comes, I'll do a quick, short drum fill and hit the downbeat of my chorus 1 pad.
I need a Friday night and a cold sip. I need sunshine and gasoline. Oh, give me those miles and mud tires, smoking backbones like a bonfire.
This will start the computer, the click, and all the lights on at the downbeat of the first chorus. And we're all in from there.
When I've lost my soul, they go, we're gonna be right back.
This setup has even helped us to get through power outages on stage. On this night in New Jersey, the power went out during our most intense moment of the set. It would have been a major buzzkill to stop the show and wait for it to be fixed. And honestly, this show was so intense, none of us on stage wanted to abandon the audience to go backstage and wait. I kept playing, the crowd started chanting, and when the power came back on, Granger picked right back up where he left off, and I was able to get the computer back in on the last chorus of the song. You can see the video while I'll jump back in sync to the last chorus. Everything ended together and the crowd went wild, having experienced a truly spontaneous moment that none of us would ever forget. This flexible track setup, as complicated as it seems, has kept us on our toes for the last 5 years and made us a better band the whole way. Every show we play is unique, and we can adapt our songs to any situation on the fly, whether it's a shorter than usual opening set, nailing the timing on a live TV broadcast,
Backroad song, Granger Smith.
or hosting a Facebook Live event for 3,000 fans.
All right, thank you guys so much.
There's nothing you can't do if you can make the machines obey. Thanks for watching my rig rundown. Please comment below if you have any questions or ideas for future videos. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on new content I'll be uploading almost weekly. Until the next one, I'm Dusty Saxton. Keep on drumming.